This is my grandmother, Sara Duckworth, and she was alive during the Depression, and I'm going to ask her some questions and she's going to answer them. How old were you when the Depression came?
Honey, I was 6 years old.
Um, about how many people did the WPA put to work?
Well, all the ones that didn't have a job, they had to do something in order to survive. So when President Roosevelt was elected president, he started this work progress administration, and that took people and give them work. They worked at schoolhouses, in the yard. They dug ditches, and they picked up the trash and everything in order to survive, because there was no money. All the banks went broke. The people that had money in the bank, they lost it, and they never got it back.
What did you eat every day, and did you eat in school?
No, the only thing that I can remember having for breakfast, my mother made biscuits, but we didn't have milk either, so she had to make the biscuits out of water, and she fried fatback meat, fatback meat, what you put in beans and stuff to season your food with now. She would fry that, and we would eat that and go to school. But see, we didn't have money enough to pay for lunch. So I'd go to school after breakfast. I'd get on the school. I'd walk to school, rather. And we had to walk 6 miles in rain, sleet, or snow, whatever. And then we would walk back, and by the time I'd get home, I'd be starved to death, and I'd be so hungry I'd cry.
And what are some of the basic jobs, other than the picking up trash and things? What did the WPA put those people in work for?
Well, on roads, they worked on roads and dug ditches and so forth. I don't know, I was so little, I don't remember just everything that they done. I remember seeing my daddy on the school ground doing this, digging ditches, and that's how I remembered that. But he was a laborer, but see, he was laid off, and you couldn't find work. And it wasn't just my family, it was everybody.
How large was your family?
Well, I had four brothers and 2 sisters.
So that would equal up to 9 people. And about how much money did you spend for food each? How much money would it cost to buy food for all of them?
It didn't cost much because we didn't have no money. You'd have to take, like my brother, milk cows for $1 a day. He'd have to get up before daylight, and he worked for Mr. Charlie White. I can remember his name. He worked for him. He would go to his farm, and he milked cows for $1 a day. That was 50 cents in the morning and 50 cents in the afternoon. And that's how he'd have to bring that $1 a day and give it to my daddy, and that's what he bought meat with, and flour. He bought flour in big sacks, and we'd take the flour sacks, the flour come in, and my mother would wash those flour sacks, and she would make our clothes out of those flour sacks. And back then we didn't wear slacks, and we didn't wear shorts, we had to wear dresses. And my mother made my clothes out of flour sacks that the flour came in. She'd take and empty the flour out, and then she'd wash the sacks and cut clothes out. And of course, she didn't have no pattern, she just cut it out. And we didn't have, I didn't have no clothes. And my daddy took me, I remember the lady's name was Miss Costner. And I didn't have a coat in the winter. And I remember, I was little, but I can remember going to school, and when the frost was on the ground, with not a sweater. And my daddy took me to see Mrs. Costner, and she gave me some boy shoes. I wore those boy shoes to school. But people back then didn't make fun either, because we didn't have no running water, we didn't have no bathrooms, We didn't have no food hardly. But in the summertime, when the garden was in, people would give us stuff that they raised in the garden. If you lived on a farm, you fared better. But see, we lived on a riverbank almost.
Well,
Is there anything else you want me to tell you?